Okay, so we are continuing with the amazing Tefer Meor Einayim, Reb Nochum of Chernobyl, Parshat Va'era. This week, Parshat Va'era, and as usual, he has an amazing teaching. So tonight, I forgot to give out the candies and whatever. And tonight we're going to be learning a spiritual lesson in neurology. Okay, so we're going to be learning the anatomy of the brain, and specifically in the idea of da'at, and what da'at has to do with being a good Jew and being able to really understand Judaism properly and be able to understand Hashem properly. So it really starts with at the beginning. I mean, the truth is that in general, the topic of all these parshas, of the beginning of the introduction of Sefer Shemot, is Galut Mitzrayim, is the bondage of the exile of being in Egypt, and what that meant on a spiritual level, and so the truth is that the first thing that we need to know is that the Baal Shem Tov has, that this is perhaps one of the most fundamental things that he ever said, is that when we're learning about yetziat mitzrayim, that you need to know that yetziat mitzrayim is not just going on a national level. Yetziat mitzrayim is going on a personal level. And says that this is what it means. The pasuk says in Tehillim, we say this in L'chadodi, Karva el nafshi ge'ala, that we say, Hashem, please come close to my soul and redeem it. So when we say, Hashem, redeem my soul, what we're saying is that my soul is in bondage, my soul is enslaved. And Hashem, please free me, please get me out of this bondage. I have my personal yetziat mitzrayim. I have my personal, my stuckness, my not being able to be free, my being out of place, my being displaced. And everything is really just out of sync because I am in slavery right now. And Hashem, please save me, please redeem me, please get me to be free. Okay, this is the story of every individual, that we are trying every day to have a personal yetziat mitzrayim, a personal geula. Okay, that everything that happens in the Torah on a national level. So it's the story of what's going to be happening to us on a personal level. And when we're learning about yetziat mitzrayim, we're learning about how to redeem ourselves, how to become really free people, how to become people that are able to be like where we should be, to be like so that's really the most important. That's the most important introduction to everything that we're going to be learning about yetziat mitzrayim. And that being said, so he starts a teaching. He starts the Torah by saying, this week, by the way, also was I like it like this. We're talking about one of these weeks. We're talking about the difference between what are they called, perceiving versus judging. I don't remember in which class we were talking about that. There's some people that like.
Using Myers-Briggs.
Right, yeah. That we're talking that some people prefer options and some people prefer just like are more into selecting. So like I feel like sometimes like when the Einayim has like 10 different Torahs and I have to pick which one am I going to teach, then like it's more frustrating. I need to so this week there's only one Torah. So like it's very, very easy. There's only one option. And so he starts the Torah by saying that the noda, that he says everybody knows. This is a known thing. Okay, what does it mean it's a known thing? So the truth is that it means that he's giving a teaching from the Baal Shem. Okay? We've said many times that what's special about the Sefer, what's special about the Meor Einayim, is that he was one of the last students of the Baal Shem Tov himself. That this is the first hand of the essence of chassidus, that he was the last of the chassidim, last of the talmidim of the Baal Shem, and the first of the talmidim of the Maggid. Okay, so when he says the noda, that is a known thing, so some of the earlier students of the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, the Talmud Yaakov Yosef, so they already bring this from the Baal Shem, that the sod galut mitzrayim hi hadat ha'amiti haya begalut. That we're talking about what does it mean to be in exile in Egypt. So the truest expression of our being in exile was that not that we were enslaved, not that they were whipping us, not that we had to build pyramids. That the truest expression of our being in galut was the da'at. The da'at was in galut. Okay, what does that mean? So this is what we're trying to figure out, and this is what really tonight's class is all about. That to try to understand what is this thing called da'at. That literally means understanding. Okay, and our understanding was in galut. Okay, and to understand what is this da'at. That what does it mean to have that? What does it mean that our da'at is in galut? And what does it mean to get our da'at into geula and to redeem it, to get it back to where we would like it to get? So anybody who ever heard of Chabad knows that Chabad is an acronym. It's an acronym for Chochmah Bina Dat. Okay, so what is Chochmah Bina Das? Chochmah Bina Das is that in Kabbalah, so these are three parts of the brain. Okay, so three kinds of brains, three kinds of thinking, three kinds of trying to figure out the world, and in our process, in our hardware of our existence. So we have these different parts which are constantly interacting with each other in order to help us live our life properly. Okay, so the first is Chochmah. Chochmah is our ability to gather information. Then is Bina. Bina is our ability to analyze that information. And then is the Da'at. Okay, so the Da'at, if we want to put this into a picture, into a graphic design, so Da'at is always in the middle. Okay, that Chochmah is on the right and Bina is on the left, and Da'at is in the middle. So why is Da'at in the middle? So first of all, what is that? So this is something that Reb Nochum of Chernobyl talks about, and it's more famous from the Baal Tanya in the third parak of Tanya. It was just his yetziat on Thursday. In the third parak of Tanya, so he teaches that what is that? That is connection. That is connection. Okay, so basing this on a pasuk, it says in Bereshit, Vayeda Adam et Chava Ishto, that Adam knew his wife, which is a reference to their intimacy, so we see that the concept of that is connection. Okay, so what does it mean? So I can know something with my brain, but I'm not connected to it. Okay, so the difference between somebody that knows something with Chochmah and somebody that knows something with that is that are you connected to that piece of information? Okay, what does it mean? What does it mean to be connected? That does the real you really know this piece of information, or is this something that your brain? Okay? Your brain is not you. Your brain is not you. There's plenty of things that we have in our brain, but the real me doesn't really know. I think I've said this before. That a friend of mine once explaining that they know it happens like that sometimes we forget, we make a mistake, and we say lashon hara, and we forget that we're speaking lashon hara, whatever. It happens that sometimes we make a mistake, and we'll touch muktzah on Shabbos, and and so it happens we don't realize what we're doing, and it just happens by itself, right? It never happens that we accidentally we're playing with a knife and we accidentally just stick it into an electric socket, right? It doesn't happen. Baruch Hashem. No, b'li ayin hara. So what's the difference? So my friend explained that it's very simple. That you heard this from me? That when we were kids, So one time we were playing with muktzah on Shabbos, and so our mother said, "Hey, Shabbos, no muktzah." So he said, "Oh, fine, whatever." And then one day we were playing with a knife next to the electric socket, and our mother said, "Ah!" So that did the trick. That it got that that is what transferred it from something that we know in our brains to something that we really know. That's something that we really, really know. That's something that became part of our essence. That this is we know with our self, not just with our cerebral brain. So, Reb Eger was he became Chassidic. He was the son of Reb Shlomo Eger, who was the son of Reb Eger. And the legend goes that his father sat Shiva when he became Chassidic. It was a very different world back then. And anyway, so Reb Eger, he was a student of the Chazim Lublin, and so he went to learn by the Chazim Lublin. He was there for a couple of months, and when he came back, so his father was like making fun of him, and so he said, no, so what'd you learn? What'd you learn by the Chazim Lublin? Holy Rebbe, you spent three months. You weren't going. You were missing all my classes. You missed so many. So you know how much we learned when you were gone. So what'd you learn? What'd you learn? So he said, Tati, I learned that there's a God in heaven. So Shlomo Eger goes to him, and there was a maid, and like nothing against maids, but he said, Rachel, tell me something. Who created the world? So he said, God in heaven. So he said, Leibele, you're on the same level as our maid. You didn't have to go 3 months to take a break from yeshiva, take a break from your wife, take a break from your family. I think you really wasted the past 3 months. So he said, Tati, that Rachel, without respect, she says that there's a God in heaven. But when I went to the chazah, I know that there's a God in heaven. Okay, and that there's knowing and there's knowing. There's knowing and there's knowing, and that this is the truth is that this is das. That is being connected to the things that we know, being connected to truth, being connected to what is the framework, what is the context of everything that's going on in the world. So this is perhaps the most important thing that we can possibly know, and so the truth is what is this das? What is this das that we're trying to figure out? So the way that Reb Nochum of Chernobyl explains it is that what you need to know. So you need to know that sheyeda, that melach haaretz kavodai, that Hashem is everywhere, that les asar panim minei, that there is nothing which is not God's existence. God is the most pleasant thing in the world, that the greatest pleasure in the world is to be close to God, that He's chai hachayim, that He is the source of life and everything. So if these are the things you know, if you're really connected to these truths, if you're really connected to this reality, so then life's as such. Then you've got it. Then you've got it. That the secret to living a good life is simply having das. Is simply to having a really deep consciousness of the context of life. Okay, if a person has a really deep God consciousness, so then everything else is going to be essential. If a person is constantly aware of God, of what I'm doing here, of what is my mission, of what is good and what is bad, what's going to help me get further in life, what's going to get me away from my goal. So then everything is simple. Then really everything is simple. And this is why that the very first thing that the Rama writes in Shak Sh is that Shivisi Hashem Lagdi Samid, that this quotes a pasuk by David HaMelech. David HaMelech says that I constantly picture Hashem before me, that hu klal galu b'Torah v'malas hatzadikim, that this is the general thing. This is the thing that brings the tzadikim to be tzadikim. That the number one thing that it takes to succeed in life is Shvis Hashem Lagdi Samid. That the more you have God consciousness, so then you're going to do it. You're going to succeed. Because if you picture Hashem, if you really feel that Hashem is here, that if you really feel the presence of it says by Yosef that he he pictured his father. Like he had a picture of his father, like rooting for him. A picture of his father, like when things were going tough, when he was feeling like down, he was feeling alone. That he pictured his father just giving him words of encouragement. So imagine if it's not your father. Imagine if it's God Himself that giving you words of encouragement, giving you words of shalom, shalom, that helping you, like reminding you of where you want to go, what's going to get you to the right place, what's going to get you to the wrong place. So the more that you picture Hashem present in your life, so you're never going to mess up. You're never going to mess up. Right? That's the whole reason why. The whole reason why we make mistakes is all because it's all because of our chesron hadas. It's because we don't have das, because we don't have a proper understanding, a proper mentality, a proper just context of life. Okay? So this is the biggest setback in getting to where we need to get. This is in our personal galut, and that, like we said, that when we're talking about galut mitzrayim, that this is every single individual has their personal galut. So their personal galut is, the personal exile is that they don't have das, that their das is an exile. Their understanding of life, their understanding is like taken away, and that's why they're mixed up. And that's why we make mistakes. That's why we're lost, and that's why we're just like it's so hard to get anywhere. It's because we don't have das. Okay, so now what is das? What is das? So because das is really just the context of everything, is the God consciousness. So das is actually the source of all of the midot. It's the source of all of the midot. And that's why in Kabbalah it says that there's two kinds of das. That there's das of ahava, and there's das of yirah. Okay? There's das of loving Hashem, and there's das of being in awe of Hashem, of respecting Hashem. And that the das is the source of both the ahava and the yirah. Okay? So why is this? Because when a person is involved in the emotion of feeling connected, so then that's very one-sided. When he's in the connection of being in awe, that's very one-sided. But in terms of just what is the context through which I experience life, that's in the step before, right? So the truth is that in my das, that God is everything and everywhere. That there is nothing in life that is not that different. Like every day is going to be a different challenge. Sometimes my challenge is that am I going to be as connected as I would like to be. Sometimes my challenge is going to be that I'm going to feel not connected, and I have to just stay strong even though I'm not connected. And that everything that is all dependent on what is the context, what is the reality in which I'm living, what is the source of all of the different tests, all of the different trials and tribulations that I'm going through. So the das is really, that's what it means. That's what it means in Kabbalah, that the das is the source of both ahava and yirah, and that's why it has this duality. And this is a very interesting thing that we know that in tefillin there's a very fascinating thing, that in tefillin there's a shin. At the tefillin shalosh there's a shin, but there's two shins. On one side there's a regular shin, on the other side there's a shin with four legs, shin with four parts. Okay, so what's the idea of the shin with four parts? Sure, thank you. So what's the idea of the shin with four parts? So we put the shin on our head. Okay, so what is the shin representing? So the three legs of the shin, this is representing the three parts of our brain. Okay, Chochmah, Bin, and Das. However, the truth is that Das is really dual. It really has the elements of Das which breed loving Hashem, and also has the elements of Das which breed Yiras Hashem. Okay, so that's why there's also a shin of four legs, which is representing the second part of the Das. Okay, there's another place where we talk about this, where this is expressed in Judaism, and that is on the night of the Seder.
The what?
Night of the Seder, Lala Seder. Oh. So we have three matzahs. We have three matzahs, and the 3 matzahs are representing Chachma Bina Das. Okay, and we're getting the one of them we break into 2. Okay, the middle one, the yachat. This is what yachat is all about. Yachat is that the das actually has this duality to it. That's why we need to break it into 2 to show that they're actually separate. And that's why we take that, and that this is the mitzvah of matzah. The mitzvah of matzah is the mitzvah of yirah, and the mitzvah of afikamen is that's chassadim. Okay, that's we actually divide the das into 2. Okay, so now so what does it mean? This duality of das. So when a person has true God consciousness, then they realize that everything is sourced in God. Okay, so just like Ahavat Hashem and Yirat Hashem are both rooted in das, so when a person has a true God consciousness, there's also no such thing as bad times, because just like that I need sometimes my test in life is, can I be as close to Hashem when things are good? Sometimes my test in life is, can I be devoted to Hashem when things are bad? So a person has das, so there is no such thing as having troubles. Even the way he writes it is that umasha nira shehura hu lemisha eno das. That if a person thinks there's anything bad in the world, it's only because that there's no das. Reb Nochum writes the same thing. Apparently, this is from the Torah, from the Baal Shem Tov, that all of the pain in the world is from a chesron of das. That the only reason why people experience pain in this world, it's all because they don't have das. If a person would have enough das,
pain or
right?
Suffering.
Right?
Pain or suffering.
In Buddhism, you would call this suffering. Okay.
Buddhism. What?
So no, the pain and suffering is that's a Buddhist separation.
No.
But the suffering is that's exactly what they mean. It's a truth that Buddhism came up with themselves, that a person has das, so doesn't have suffering. They don't suffer. There is physical pain when you get a cut. So then there's physical pain, but the suffering is all because you don't have das.
Yeah.
Or in other words, that if a person will have a proper context of life, then they'll realize that Hashem certainly wants to give me something, that Hashem loves me, and if He's giving me this pain, it must be that this is this is good for me, for whatever reason, either because it's somehow doing me a favor, because if I wouldn't have been for this, I would have to suffer in some other way, or because that my test right now is, can I deal with this things not going my way and not complain, and that's the only way that I will reach my fulfillment in life is by overcoming this challenge. And so, but when a person realizes that this is exactly what I want right now, so then he's not going to suffer, right? When a person realizes that even though something is objectively uncomfortable, but if you know this is exactly what you need right now, so when a person has a toothache and they go to the dentist, so some things that the dentist is going to be doing, it's objectively uncomfortable, but yet you're very, very happy that he's doing it because it's taking away something which is much less uncomfortable. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, pain itself is just telling you that there is something that you need to deal with.
Mm-hmm. So that's what it means. That's what Reb Nochum says, that all the suffering in the world is really coming from a chesron das, and it's a person that doesn't have das. So then they have this tendency to think that things are bad. But the truth is that a person that has proper das, so then everything is really good. So Reb Nochum of Chernobyl explains that this is what there's no chumash here. Okay, I'll say it by heart. That at the very beginning of the pasuk, the very beginning of the parsha, so it says, "Vaydaber Elohim el Moshe, vayomer elav ani Hashem." Okay, that's the first words. That's the opening words of the pasuk of the parsha. Okay, so what is this? What is this a response to? In the very end of Parshat Shmos, at the very end of last week's parsha, so Moshe complains. He says, "Lama hareota la'am hazeh, lama zeh shalachtani." That why did you do bad? What was the story? That Hashem sent Moshe in the burning bush, and he went before Paro, and he says, "Paro, you have to let my people go," and he says, "Oh, you're just you're just complaining, that you're nirpim atem nirpim, that you're just lazy. That's why you're thinking of such crazy thoughts. So from now on, I'm not going to give you any more hay. You're going to have to go to the fields and collect your own hay in order to make the mortar, in order to make the bricks, in order to make the pyramids. And so then now your work just doubled. Okay, and so he was so upset. Now they all hated him, and so Moshe says, like, Hashem, like, what are you doing? You sent me on a mission, and lama harayota lamazeh, that you're because of what you did, they're having a hard life. Lama harayota lamazeh shlachtani. So Hashem answers him. V'yamar Elokim el Moshe, v'yamar elav ani Hashem. Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay, what does this mean? So everybody knows that when it says Elokim in the Torah, this is a reference to Midat Hadin, Shabbat Hashem's judgment. Okay, how do we know this? Because the word for judges is also Elohim. Okay, it says in the Torah in Parshat Sheftim, Elohim lo tekalel, nasivi am chalasar. That's in Parshat Mishpatim. I'm sorry, that it refers to judges as Elohim. Okay, so Elohim is a reference to Hashem's judgment. Okay, so Yud Kei Vav Kei, on the other hand, is Hashem's midat harachamim, is Hashem's compassion, Hashem's mercy. Okay,
Yud Kei Vav Kei is midat harachamim, especially.
So when it says V'yomer Elokim el Moshe, Hashem is speaking from this place of judgment. V'yomer elav ani Hashem, that it seems to you that this is judgment, but I want you to know that the truth is that Elokim and Yud Kei Vav Kei, the judgment and mercy, that they're all one. They're all one. And this is what it means. There's a pasuk in Vayeschanan that we say this before we take out the Sefer Torah every day, every Shabbos. Ata har'eta lada'at ki Hashem hu Elokim ein od milvado. Okay? You showed lada'at. You showed us to have real da'at, that with true understanding. So you showed us that ki Hashem hu Elokim, that there's no difference between mercy and judgment. That even when Hashem is giving judgment, even when it seems like Hashem is giving some hardship, but that it's really just as merciful. It's just as kind. It's just as kind as that. It's not less kind when the dentist is drilling and to take out whatever is hurting you. It's not less kind than when your friend is just giving you a $1,000 loan. Okay, the judgment is coming from the exact same place. What seems to be something which is painful, it's coming from the exact same place of compassion, of love. Okay, that's what it means, Ki Hashem Elokim. Okay, he brings another pasuk. It says, V'yadata hayom. We say this in Aleinu. V'yadata hayom v'hashivas al-vavecha Ki Hashem hu Elokim. Okay. Then.
Elohim has a double meaning of judges and Shem. Why do we bother saying Elohim and not just saying Elohim?
When we are we're referring to human beings, then it's not holy, but it's also a reference to God, and then it becomes the name of Hashem.
When you refer to human beings, you say Elohim? Or
Correct.
Elohim?
Correct. When you're referring to human beings, you say Elohim, because it's not holy.
Right.
When you're referring to God, you say Elohim, because it's the name of God. It's a practical nafkamina for a sefer. Because when a sefer writes the Shemot HaKadoshim, you have to have a special kavanah, a special intention, that I have intention to sanctify this name of Hashem. So for the name of Elohim is a holy name that needs to have kavanah. I'm writing the name of Hashem. It's also an nafkamina that is forbidden to erase the name of Hashem. Okay, you're not allowed to throw out anything which is the name of Hashem. It's not. You're not allowed to treat it in a disgraceful manner. Okay, so this is what it means. The first pasuk in this week's parsha. We finally got to understand the first pasuk in this week's parsha. V'yamar Elokim el Moshe, v'yamar elav ani Hashem. Okay, so now, and this is once again this is the secret of that in this week's parsha. So this is the beginning of yetziat mitzrayim. This is the beginning of the redemption. Like last week's parsha was that we got into this mess. We got enslaved. The slavery began, and it continued for 200 something years. And so in last week's parsha already, Moshe Rabbeinu becomes becomes chosen as the leader, the one who's going to bring us out. But as of last week's parsha, things are just as bad. Just as bad. This week's parsha, so we start with the makot. We start with the 10 plagues, which is obviously the beginning of the end, the beginning of yetziat mitzrayim. So if the Baal Shem Tov teaches us that the essence of being in Egypt, the essence of galut mitzrayim, is the galut of the da'at, is the exile of our understanding, is that our ability to have God consciousness is taken away from us. So then, in this week's parasha is the beginning of regaining das, regaining this understanding of life, having a proper, healthy mentality from which how to live life. Okay, so the Torah continues. The Torah continues. That Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu that va'era, this is the word va'era, the parasha is va'era. It says, va'era el Avram, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, b'kel shakai, u'shmi Hashem lo nodati lahem. So that I revealed myself to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov with the name Kel Shakai. Okay? The way I related to Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov was with a certain revelation, and he calls that Kel Shakai, these names, the holy names of God, Kel and Shakai, and Ushmi Yud Kei Vav Kei Shmi Havaya Lo Nodati Lahem. Okay, so what does this mean? Okay, Nodati is from the word Da'at. Okay, I didn't give them the understanding of the name Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay, so what is this? So what does this mean? So Reb Nochum of Chernobyl tells us something so deep, and that is that life is all about tests. Life is all about nisyonot. Okay, that we're not like some people they like when things are easy. They like when they have when they feel connected and when they feel like everything is clear to them, and unfortunately that's not what life is all about. Life is about being complicated. Life is about when we feel lost and we feel confused and we feel that we're conflicted, and that's what life is all about. It's all about getting through this confusion in the best way. Okay, so he says that what's the secret of a nisayon? What's the secret of a test? So a person has das. A person has the certain element of understanding. But as long as he has this understanding, so then everything's no-brainer. Then it's impossible for him. It's possible for him to make a sin. It's possible for him to make a mistake. Okay. So what does Hashem do? So Hashem takes away his das. Hashem takes away his das. Hashem takes away a person's understanding. Hashem takes away a person's higher level of consciousness, and because he takes away this higher level of consciousness, the higher level of understanding, so now he has a test. Now it makes sense. Now he's conflicted. Now he's confused. Okay. A person has any kind of test that should I go out with this girl that's gonna bring me down in my spirituality? Should I go to this movie that I know that it's not what I should be watching? Should I go to this job opportunity that's gonna just be detrimental to me in whatever way? Whatever test you're going through right now. So if you would have a clarity, then no test would be a test, right? If I tell you, hey, would you like some poison? Like, hey, let's drink bleach. I heard it's really cool, right? So
they call it something else.
So you're not gonna go for it because you have das that the drinking bleach is gonna kill you, right? So if it would be as clear to you that anything that is against my mission in life is like drinking bleach, so then life would be a cinch. Then really there would be no tests. There would be no tests. Like every time that I'm being tested, that should I go to this non-kosher restaurant? I'll just eat vegan. So like whatever test I'm going through, So if it would be clear to me that doing what I'm not supposed to do is like drinking bleach, then there's no tests, right? So in order for there to be any test in life, so the first thing Hashem does is that He takes away my das. Okay? And that's how we have this reality that even though we know things, sometimes that we're always fluctuating. We're always, Reb Nochum. So one of the most amazing things about him was that how honest he was, and how he would sometimes tell his students that I'm sorry, I have nothing to teach you today. I don't know anything. I don't know anything, and don't think that I'm just being humble. I just you don't know anything. So I'm just like you.
You're coming to me because you don't know anything.
I'm exactly in the same place as you. That I have no idea. Today I'm not a rabbi today. Okay, I'm just off duty. The rabbi is not in today. Okay, I forgot. The story is about the Baal Shem Tov also. That he lost all of his understanding. With the Baal Shem Tov, it was a crazy story. That he forgot everything. He forgot his shamish of tzvi had to remind him how to say aleph beis. It was a crazy story. But Reb Nochum sometimes I don't think it was ever that bad that he forgot aleph beis. But he said I don't understand anything. I have nothing to teach you. I have nothing to teach you. To be honest, I have this experience many times. I feel like I come to class and I have no idea what I'm going to say. I feel like I have nothing, and just Hashem just brings out something good every time. Thank God. And so how does a person have a test? What's the secret of nisayon? So the Einayim teaches us that in order to have any nisayon, you have to have a histalkus hadas, a taking away of understanding. And it's only through that it's possible to have a test. Okay. So what's a person supposed to do then? What's a person? Now I'm confused. Now I forgot. If I would have this high level consciousness that anything that's going against Hashem's will is like poison, and the only thing that's going to give me satisfaction is only doing my mission in life. So then everything is always going to be easy. So the only way for me to really have a test and grow is only if Hashem takes away my das. Okay, so what's amazing thing is that this is also a way of bringing das into the world. Okay, or in other words, that there's actually two kinds of das. There's actually two kinds of das in the world. There's two kinds of understanding. There's the understanding that Hashem reveals, and there's the understanding that Hashem wants us to reveal. Okay, how do we reveal it? That when we have this silukadas, when we have this losing of our understanding, and so what do we do at that point? So we're confused, but we do know. We have this echo of truth. We're calling out from behind the fog, from behind the I sometimes I imagine someone's trying to communicate with you underwater. So you're underwater and he's calling out to you from above water and all the bubbles. It's like this very very soft. You see he's shouting at you, but it doesn't get there. So that's when a person has silukadas. When a person has silukadas, you hear these messages from your subconsciousness, and so he says that's really what happened. That's really what happened at Yetziat Mitzrayim. That's what when we got that after Yetziat Mitzrayim. So the purpose of Yetziat Mitzrayim, the purpose of the 10 plagues was that Hashem was putting das into the world. That leman yedu Mitzrayim k'nei Hashem. That I want even the Egyptians should have das of myself, of my existence in this world. So the purpose of Yetziat Mitzrayim was to bring out das in Hashem, and he says that there's different levels of das. So Yetziat Mitzrayim was the greatest revelation of das in the world, and he gives a metaphor of a klipot. The klipot is we refer to all of the negative forces, negative energies in the world as klipot, and so in a klipa, so if you have in a peanut, so you have two klipot. First you have the what you call it? You have the thick, the big, the hard klipa. and then after you take off the hard klipa, so then you still have that soft klipa that doesn't taste so good, but some people eat it anyway. So in the world, so yetziat mitzrayim was taking away the hard shell, but there's still more subtle shells, subtle coverings of the pri itself, of the desired itself, that we keep on revealing more and more and more until Mashiach comes. Okay? So the first yetziat mitzrayim was that Hashem was bringing down the das, but until Mashiach comes, so there's also a das that we need to bring out, and that we're bringing it out by hearing these echoes from afar and actualizing them. And after you make a good decision, then suddenly your das comes to you, right? Suddenly, it's whenever we have some kind of test. So at the moment, it seems like it was really, really difficult, but like looking back 10 years later, it's like, wow, like I'm so glad that I didn't mess up. Like it was like after you make the right decision, so then it becomes like after, like, if you have like some money that you don't deserve, and you're like, should I give it back? Should I not give it back? So you like after you give it back, then you're so like, well, that it was so obvious to me that I should have given it back.
It's so simple.
What?
It was so simple.
It was so simple, right? But after the test, after you make a good decision, then you reveal the das. And at that moment, the das is here. The das, then it's simple again. Then it's a no-brainer again. So the cycle was that first Hashem took away the das, and that's why you were confused, and that's why it was a test. But once you make the right decision, so then you are revealing the das, and then you're bringing it back. Okay, so
doesn't apply to all tests aren't necessarily a decision. I feel like if someone got getting tortured,
yeah,
like there's no decision involved, but it is a test, right?
Of course, there's a decision. I mean, if there's no decision,
if your hands are tied and you're hanging like this, and they're putting car batteries.
if there's no decision, then there's no test.
It's not a test.
The decision is how to take it. Should I stop believing in God? Should I curse out God? Or should I accept this from a mentality of that I know that Hashem still loves me? That's your decision. That's your decision when you're being tortured. That should I go off the derech at this point, or should I remain loyal to Hashem? That's a decision.
Should it just be in pain, or should it start suffering?
What if when people are really angry or upset or something, they say things they don't actually mean? Can that be relevant?
I think that a person that has a really deep God consciousness, they don't lose control. They don't lose control, and they're constantly saying what they mean and not saying what they don't mean. Okay? But regarding you understand what I'm saying? Really everything, everything that happens to us, even though there's nothing I can do about it, but how I take it, how I perceive it, is a test. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's always a test. I always have a choice. Correct. It's not always something to do, but it's something to perceive. Okay, so this is two kinds of das. There's two kinds of das that are coming down into the world. Okay, and so he says that this is why we find this amazing thing, that in the 10 plagues, so we find a very fascinating thing, that some of the plagues, so before the plague, so Moshe comes to Paro and he warns him about it. He says, if you don't fear the Jews, then this is going to happen, that all of the water is going to turn into blood, and there's going to be frogs, etc. But interestingly, every three by kinim, by shchin, and by choshech. So the third one comes without warning. So why is this? Why is it sometimes he warns him, sometimes he doesn't warn him? So that when Hashem is warning you, so the Reb Nochum of Chernobyl tells you that he's giving you the das. He's making it clear unto the world that all the Egyptians, that, like, I'm warning you before, I'm telling you that the fact that you're being mean to the Jews, you're gonna suffer. Okay, so this is a certain das. This is a certain level of understanding that God is the ruler of the world, which is the purpose of these 10 malchus. That the reason why Hashem did these miracles is because He wants that for all eternity. This is like the deeper level of why God made these 10 plagues, is that He, for once in history, He wanted to show the world that I can do miracles. I want to show you that I am in complete control of everything in the world of nature, and that there's no such thing as that's just the way it is. That I can go against any rule because I created all the rules. Okay, so that is the greatest das. The das is that there's no such thing as that's just the way it is. It's just nature. The greatest das is that Hashem is everything. Okay, right. So in these 10 plagues, this was the message that Hashem wanted to really dig into our system, really knock it into us, that to know that God is in charge of everything, that everything is happening to us for a reason. Okay, so in this das, in this God consciousness, which is the ultimate essence of yetziat mitzrayim, so He wants us to know that there's two kinds of das. That there's a das that Hashem is going to teach us, and there's a das that we need to bring out ourselves. And that's what's being hinted to in the plagues that came without a warning, because then the das that Hashem is in charge. So Hashem didn't warn us that, by the way, I'm going to bring light. By the way, I'm going to make darkness. Like, I think with darkness, it's even very beautiful that's the essence of darkness is that I'm confused, and from my confusion, I figure it out myself. That's the das that I bring into the world. That's the das that I'm able to figure out myself. Okay, so this is the what you call it. This is the reason why some of the plagues have a warning and some of them don't have a warning. So Reb Nochum of Chernobyl concludes by saying that there's a very interesting Rashi that when he talks about when Hashem says the difference between Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov and Moshe, so Hashem says that Va'era el Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov b'kal shakai, that I revealed myself to Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov with these names of kal shakai. Ushmi Hashem, but my name of Havaya lo nudati lahem. Okay, so what does it mean?
So they were not aware of this dimension
of Havaya. So what does it mean? What does it mean that I revealed myself with the name of Kal Shakai? So Shakai, Shin Dalad Yud. So this is also a name that infers a certain tzimtzum, a certain making things, not showing everything. Die means enough. Die means enough. Like if you you should never say die. But if you say die, it means like stop. If something's really bothering you, say die. I can't take it. But you shouldn't say it. So Shakai means it's a reference to the fact that Hashem had boundaries. It's the first time that Shakai comes into a word that's used is a reference to Hashem Sha'amar la'olam dai, that He told His world when He was creating the world that the world was expanding, and He told the world to stop. Okay, what does it mean to stop? To stop? No, that He told the world to stop revealing Him in the world. Meaning all of the Hester Panim is from this name of Shakai. Okay, so Hashem says to Moshe that Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, so with them I related with the relationship of Shakai. With them I related to them with a relationship of not showing all my cards. Okay, or in other words, that with them there was a lot of siluk hadas. With that, because what do we know about the avot? What do we know about Hashem was constantly testing them? That Hashem tested Avraham Avinu with Asara Nisyonot, and then He goes through Yitzchak as Nisyonot, and Yaakov is Nisyonot. Everything, their entire life is going against their nature. Hashem is, are you going to be loyal to me? Are you going to succeed in all of your tests that you're going through? So that was all because of Shakai. And Shmi Hashem lo nadati lam, but revelation, Yud Kei Vav Kei lo nadati lam, that the true das, that I should just give them a present, that I never gave them that present. That I'm giving to you. Moshe Rabbeinu is the essence of Das. Moshe Rabbeinu is the essence of Das. The Hashem is just giving him a present. Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Mount Sinai 40 days. Hashem gave him the entire understanding of the world as a present. Okay, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu in Kabbalah. So Moshe Rabbeinu represents Das, and because Hashem gave him understanding as a present, that's why Moshe's arch enemy is Paro. And so the Arizal writes that the word Paro is the same letters as Oref. Oref. What is Oref? Oref is the back of your neck. Okay. So what? So in Kabbalah they talk about Das as being right under your Oref. Okay, as being in the back of your head, because Das. So besides being connected to something, like the consciousness, this consciousness. So it's all about making decisions, because it's through your consciousness that you make decisions. So being in the middle is being able to take the whole picture and being able to find out what's really the bottom line. So the same place, is the Das, but the place of my brain which I choose to be with it, to really be aware of my things I know, or to just feel disconnected. So that's the same place that Oref, the Paro, is right here. He's trying to take away my Das. The Paro wants me to live life without Das. He wants me to live life that whatever I know, it'll stay in my brain. It's not going to be something that's part of my consciousness. It'll be something that I learned that in school, but whatever. And that's what Paro really wants from us. Okay, so Avram Avinu, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So Hashem says that my relationship with them was Kal Shakai. It was a relationship of Silo Kadas, of not having this high level consciousness, because I was constantly testing them. So Rashi comments that Chaval al da'avdin v'lo metachin. Okay, so he gives a Chassidic interpretation of these words. That literally Chaval da'avdin v'lo metachin means that it's a shame for those that are gone and you can't find any more like them. Okay? And Hashem is complaining that it's a shame that no more, it's a shame that Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov aren't around anymore. Okay? That's a strange thing to say. It's a strange thing to say. It sounds like he's just calling out Moshe Rabbeinu and said, "Oh, Moshe, you're such a loser. I wish I had Avraham. Avraham would never say such a thing like that." Okay? So that's so the Einayim says that no, that's not what it means. That Hashem is saying that Avram he was different than you. He was different than you. That by the Avos, so there was the Avdin, that they lost their Das. I took away their Das, but even though they forgot their Das, even though they lost their Das, they didn't forget the message of the Das. Meaning from this foggy message that they were still hearing, that we always hear, even when we're confused, we know deep down what we should be doing. It's just because it's saying in such a quiet voice, so we don't pay attention to it. And it's possible to just okay, shut up, I'm not in the mood. Okay? That's so Chavala da'avdin v'lo meshachin, that I was so amazing that the Avos, that even though they didn't have Das, they weren't like you're talking to me constantly. Everything's a no-brainer, because I'm always here. I'm like that. You constantly you represent Das. So with them, they had something else which was on a lower level, but even more beautiful in a certain way. That they didn't have this high level of Das, but even though they Avdin, they lost their Das v'lo meshachin, but they didn't forget the direction. Okay, and this is really there's something very relevant. This is we're all in our galut mitzrayim. We're all in our personal exile. We're all trying to be redeemed. Karva nafshe gala, and so what is how do we make it? How do we survive? Things are so confusing. Things are so complex, and we don't have we're not always in this high level of understanding. So chaval da'avdin v'lo meshachin. It's about not forgetting. It's about not forgetting. That, there's a metaphor that the Rambam brings down. That sometimes a person is in a dark forest, and he has no idea. He has no idea where he's going to go. He has no idea how to get out of the forest. He's scared he's going to die in this forest, and then in the middle of the night, in the middle of this darkness, so suddenly there's a huge strike of lightning. and for a split second, he sees everything.
I heard it.
And then it goes black again. Okay? And this is that from this level of inspiration, from this level of clarity. So now he has a compass. And now he knows if I want to get out, I know where to go. Okay? But he has to constantly be looking back to when I had clarity. Okay? And right now I'm in the dark. Right now I don't feel it. Right now I feel like I'm just I'm not going anywhere. But I remember that clarity, and that's what's going to help me go further. So this is how we deal with nisyanot. This is how the others. This is their specialty. This was their talent. That even though they weren't feeling it, they weren't in the mood, but they remembered that when I had clarity, I knew that this is what I should be doing, and they were loyal. They were loyal to what they knew. Okay, so meaning that there's some people that they want to do the right thing when they're in the mood. Okay, but when I'm not in the mood to do the right thing, I'm not going to do the right thing. Okay, so that's a person that he likes having das. He would like Mashiach to be here. Okay, when Mashiach is here, then we're going to have lots of das. Umala ha'aretz das is Hashem. That's how the Torah describes the Geula. When Mashiach comes, umala ha'aretz das is Hashem. That the world is going to be flowing with das. Everyone is God consciousness will be such an easy thing, such an obvious thing. There will be no room to doubt the truth.
The lightning strike will be there always.
It's constant, right? But now that's not the. So some people are like, I want to be in the mood. That's like saying, okay, I want Mashiach. Okay, I'm very happy that you want Mashiach, but that's not what life is all about. Life is about working through the darkness, and that's what the others were so beautiful. That was their talent. So I bless us all that we should really be able to latch on to these moments of inspiration. And most of all, to understand that it's okay that we're not in the mood. It's okay that we're not inspired. It's okay that we're confused. That life is not about just doing it when we're in the mood. Life is about bringing this das ourselves. And this is what the Avos HaKadoshim were so good at. And this is part of even the Makos themselves. This is what Hashem was bringing to us. That there's certain amounts of das that Hashem is leaving it up to us. And the way that we do it is that from the confusion, from the difficulty, to remember that as soon as we make the right decision, then we're going to realize that it was so simple. How could I have been confused? And it is so b'ezrat Hashem to be able to bring more and more das and and things will get easier and easier b'ezrat Hashem until Mashiach comes, until then there'll be a general clarity into the world, and then we'll know that I took a part in bringing this clarity down to the world.